I guess World War II really never ends at the Paradox offices. You just keep on bringing out more and more for Hearts of Iron. What sort of issues and what kind of holes did you want to fill with the latest expansion?
Right. What we were thinking with this expansion was we basically went through what was there and had a look at what isn't as fun as it could have been, or what were people asking for and such. And then we tried to take the ones that we could do and do those.
So more specifically, what sort of areas did you pinpoint?
We did a few things. The first big thing was people felt that it took quite a while to get started on the war, but they wanted to play the beginning years to mold their country into the way they wanted to play. Or if they wanted to try something unhistorical, like totally going a different direction, then you would have to start in 1936 and then play a few years before the war started. So what we've done is we have this new thing called a custom game start that basically lets you fast forward the first couple of years, or you can pick a later start date as well in the middle of the war if you want. And you have like points and things, so you can allocate them in different ways. So you can go and do like really fun, crazy stuff, like say, take Italy and put all of their research and all of their resources into trying to get as far ahead in nuclear research as possible. So when the war breaks out, you might have a nuke in a year or so. And all things like that, and for multiplayer as well, so you don't have to play these beginning years, which, for example, if you have a player playing the US, he'll be kind of have to sit back a lot and wait for the others to get the war going. But when you do this, you'll be able to play straight away.
I suppose there's a lot of need for testing that sort of thing, because it could create a lot of crazy scenarios that are basically unplayable as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking multiplayer, then you already sort of need a few house rules, because the countries aren't really balanced to each other, right? So usually what multiplayer teams do, they have a couple of house rules. And for the system, sure, you can do crazy stuff like that, so that you will get weird outcomes. But we've put in a system so people will be able to script a couple of house rules to really like limit how these points are distributed. But the idea is you still need to have some sort of house rule system. And the nukes in this game are not the end of the world either. So
not that powerful. But at the same time, it sounds like a great thing for a multiplayer game to be able to do this, because it can be a little bit more manageable as well. And you can, well, I mean, it's not like a quick fix game in any way, but maybe it's a little bit more like a reasonable sort of time frame.
More like you can play it in an evening rather than a few of them. But yeah, you'll be able to set up some of the house rules in there if you want to limit it. For example, like don't pull any techs, or get rid of any techs or any boats, for example, that you might, for example, like if you're playing and you know that the AI is playing a certain country, you can sort of try and do something really gamey, and we can block that with house rules. But it's still something, you need to discuss this with your friends and come up with the way you want it. For single player, there's kind of, you can do whatever you want. It's sort of a what if thing.
Yeah.
You get this like, oh, what happened if I did this crazy thing with this country? But you can limit yourself as well there and say, I'm not going to throw away any old research. I will just work with what I have. Or
I suppose that's like one of the most sort of popular aspects of history as well, is that alternate history, sort of trying to see what if this happened instead of what if this country did this, or what if Churchill got run over, or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a few things like that you can do with custom game mode, like you can adjust diplomatic alignments and factions and things like that.
So are there any other tweaks that you brought into the game that you feel are important?
Yeah, we've done a lot of changes to the way combat works for two reasons. There was a couple of things that we felt could be better, and also we wanted to, the game has been out for a long time, people have gotten very used to it, they have all their optimized builds that they're probably not going to change very much and such. So we kind of wanted to shake this thing up. So we introduced a bunch of new combat rules and properties. So combat feels very different now, and you need totally different build strategies and tactics. So one of the things we've done is we introduced combat tactics into combat, which is basically it's a way to make leaders more important. And how it works is that when combat starts, each leader will pick a tactic to use, and these will influence how the battle goes. So it's a kind of it's a bit like what should we call it, rock paper scissors almost. So they have some of them have advantages versus other tactics and such. And it makes it a lot more fun to sit there and watch it, and it's kind of like a fencing match. And then we also did things with armor of tanks. So to model this sort of race between the Russians and the Germans in how thick armor versus how strong weapons they have. And so you have this thing where if your tanks are sufficiently armored, they'll be able to do more in combat and such and take less damage.
All right, so The Finest Hours is just about to hit. It's coming out very soon, the end of September here. What do you feel is the roadmap ahead with Hearts of Iron 3? Do you sort of have still ideas for more things you want to do with the game after this?
Oh, we have we always have lots of ideas. We have this big wiki page full of ideas that we come up with, and before we make an expansion like this, we have a big pile of ideas, and not all of them are going to make it in because you only have a certain amount of time to work on this. So there's still ideas. Then I don't know if there's going to be a sequel or expansions, but there's probably going to be more Hearts of Iron in the future.